A family of 4 Turkish refugees who are among 7 people who were abducted on Friday morning in Kileleshwa, Karen and Upper Hill have appealed to the government to help track and return their kin back home. A British citizen who was among the 3 who were released told Citizen TV that they were kidnapped at gunpoint by armed men who covered their faces with masks and claimed to be members of a security unit in Kenya. The families who have reported the matter at the Kileleshwa police station claim this could be an operation sanctioned from their country of origin and fear their loved ones could be deported and jailed in the country over their divergent political views back home.
This CCTV footage in Kileleshwa captures the moment when a family of Turkish refugees using this car were leaving their home. Positioned strategically from the exit route were 2 vehicles. A saloon car and a Toyota Prado follows the car immediately it joins the main road. Reports indicate that it is at this moment Mustafa Cheng and his family were abducted by armed men.
An educational consultant.
As this was happening, along another road in Kileleshwa, Nashdet Seitolu, a British citizen who was in the company of his friend Hussein Yeslisu, a Turkish refugee, were abducted in a similar manner by 4 armed men.
A white jeep blocked our way, and in that car there were 4 armed people, and they pointed their weapons to us. They forced us to go with them. I realized that all of them was wearing a mask. They covered our eyes and we were handcuffed.
Sietolu says they drove for about 3 hours before the vehicle came to a sudden stop. The number plates were exchanged before they continued with the journey. All this time, the abductors, who claimed to be members of special forces, questioned them about their work in the country. He says what got him out of the fire was the moment he identified himself as a British citizen.
They told me, can you show your ID? They allowed me to show my ID, and they took picture of my British passport, and I think they sent to their boss. So then we were separated into different cars.
He was dropped in an unknown location within the city at 3 p.m., 8 hours after his abduction. Sietolu, an education consultant and a member of the Gulen movement, found his way to the Omirie Foundation, where he learned that 5 other friends had also been kidnapped in a similar fashion, which they suspect could have been instigated all the way from Turkey.
I think they have organized this thing. I don't have proof, but they have organized. They are aware of that. My colleagues in Kenya, they didn't feel safe because time by time, 2 of them told me that we feel like we were, some people are following us.
Later, 2 other refugees, a woman and a minor who had been abducted, were released by their captors. Unfortunately, 4 men who were taken by the armed men are yet to be traced.
The first thing that rings in our minds is the threat of refoulement. That it might be that somebody wants to take them back to their mother country against their will and against the law. We don't know their state. Some of them are unwell and are supposed to be on medication.
The family members who have reported the matter at Kileleshwa police station now want Kenyan authorities to intervene and save their loved ones from being deported out of the country. Amnesty International Kenya and International Commission of Jurists have joined those condemning the incident and demanded action from the government. Gatete Njoroge, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Lucy Hospital in Nairobi is facing a serious crisis. Patients, particularly expectant mothers and new mothers, report being forced to share their beds with their newborns. Many are left to sleep on the floor without any bedding and charged at the usual rates daily for bed space. Patients have accused the hospital's management of refusing to take action in response to their complaints. Our reporter Willie Lusige visited the hospital and prepared the following report.
The scenes you encounter when you enter the ward for expectant mothers and those who have just given birth at the Mama Lucy Hospital in Nairobi. The hospital has a smart exterior, but the situation inside is dismal. As the days pass, conditions continue to deteriorate, leaving patients in despair. Due to overcrowding, mothers who have just given birth along with their infants are forced to share beds, some with up to 5 people in one small space.
Tuko watatu.
Na watoto ni wangapi? Watoto ni wangapi?
Watatu.
So kila mama kuna mtoto.
It is considerably difficult for one to find a bed with less than 3 mothers on it in this ward. The conditions in this ward have become unbearable. Mothers such as this one sleep on the floor without any bedding, struggling to care for their infants.
Na hapo chini mnalala kuna mattress?
Hakuna, unatandika tu ile shuka yenye uko nayo ama kitambaa yenye uko nayo unajitandika chini unalalia.
Na mtoto analala wapi?
Si mtoto sasa at least unasongesha kidogo analala kwa kitanda na wengine.
With so many people sharing a bed, mothers have no choice but to stay awake to give their children a place to sleep.
So mnakaa chini watoto wanalala.
Tunakaa tu hivi watoto wanalala, sasa tunawaachia nafasi walale.
Despite their appeals for improved care, these mothers feel ignored, claiming the staff often turn a deaf ear to their needs.
Nilipouliza mbona hao wanashare vitanda, walisema mimi sifai kuuliza hivyo. Mimi si mgonjwa na mimi sio staff. Kwa hivyo I'm not entitled kujua. In fact, one of the nurses aliniambia naweza enda mahali najua.
Even in these crowded conditions, each patient is required to pay a daily bed fee of Kenya shillings 1,000.
Kitanda ni pesa ngapi?
Dao, ngiri moja. Nimechajua 15,000 ya kitanda.
Na ujalala?
Na sijalala.
These mothers are asking Nairobi County government to take immediate action to improve conditions in the hospital and to ensure they are not placed at risk of infection. The hospital's communication department has acknowledged the gravity of the situation due to the influx of patients and says that while there are plans to build additional wards, for now the institution remains powerless to change the conditions. Mama Lucy Hospital has faced repeated criticism for patients' negligence, but the current situation is dire, where patients are now sharing beds and even the floor, sparking calls for immediate actions from the government. Willie Lusige, Citizen TV, Mama Lucy Hospital, Nairobi. A number of civil society organizations, human rights activists, and a section of the political class have expressed opposition to the nomination of Professor Kithure Kindiki as Deputy President. The leaders claim that Kindiki was at the Interior Ministry when many young people lost their lives during the June to July Gen Z protests. They insist that under his leadership, peaceful protesters were killed, comrades were illegally detained in unregistered torture chambers for weeks, and the machinery of repression intensified.
About suitability, is it suitable? Eligibility, we leave it, and I know some people want to go to court because I've had calls here and there, so let the courts determine whether it's eligible to be nominated to be a vice president. The right to a fair trial cannot be denied. Among the constitution, everything is allowed, you can do, but the right to a fair trial cannot be denied. So when the vice president, the deputy president fell sick and requested that he should be allowed time to be attended to by doctors, then he even comes back, there was nothing that stopped us from allowing him to do that. Anybody can fall sick.
It was a day filled with fun activities for dozens of elderly persons living in Nairobi at an event organized by Ushiriki Wema, led by Mama Tessie Mudavadi. The event held at the Ulinzi Sports Complex brought together the elderly under the theme Stara ya Wazee, and it was also graced by the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi. Musalia pledged government commitment in safeguarding their welfare. Mary Moki has the details.
Yes. They're asking, are you ready? Yes. You're ready? Yeah.
The Ulinzi Sports Complex on Saturday played host to a special group. This field that ordinarily sees strong, young and agile military men and women doing their training had unusual visitors on Saturday. Senior citizens, both male and female, had a field day, but first they had to have a conversation with their feeble knees.
0, 0, 0, 50, tap, tap, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. You can start with both hands. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
It was a race against age. Once done with the warm-up, they competed in various sports activities ranging from relays, short runs and football. Smiles and great exhilaration evident on their well-lined faces. Joining in the fun was Prime CS Musalia Mudavadi, and they were all too glad to welcome him.
Tumefurahi sana vile tumekuja leo, kwa vile tumekimbia, tumecheza, tumekunywa chai, tuko na furaha sana. Sikimbiagi nikiwa nini, lakini nimeona ninatoa jazo. Sasa nasikia kamwili kanaenda, ninakuwa na operation miguu, lakini hata sisikii kiuma. Stress zinaisha. Ukikuja pali kama huku na unakuaga uko nyumbani, ukija huko unafurahi, unaona different people. Sasa hata unasahau kama uko mzee.
Today we are here to celebrate the elderly people and also come and create the awareness about these elderly people. That's why we have the elderly and we have those people that we have called to see how they can be able to chip in each and every way, your own small way. If you're in the village, how can you be able to help an elderly person?
The elderly persons challenged the government to increase their Inua Jamii stipends to match the harsh economic times, with Mama Tessie Mudavadi calling for special IDs identifying them as special citizens that will make it easier for them to access government services.
Kali tulinde tuongezee pesa. Mambo ya kitu kidogo kidogo 2,000 hii hatuna vile tunaweza kulipa nyumba tunalipa shilingi 4,000 5,000. Ikumbuke wazee wenyewe ambao waliwazaa watulinde.
We are advocating for special recognition of our elderly, hoping that they can get special ID cards indicating that they are above a certain age. And with these special ID cards, they should be allowed first service when they go into public spaces.
Na jasho yenu katika vitengo mbalimbali kama ni ukulima, biashara, walimu na kadhalika. Nyinyi nyote jasho yenu kwa hiyo miaka yote ndio umefikisha Kenya pahali imefika.
Mary Mwoki, Citizen TV.